All right, let's get to work.
3, 2, 1.
Let's do this.
The Phoenix Music Scene on the YetiRadio.com. The Yeti Radio, powered by DavidLeeImaging.com. Welcome to the Phoenix Music Scene on the YetiRadio.com.
Good evening, everybody. I'm the Yeti, and you are at the YetiRadio.com live on YouTube. Tonight we have the honorable position of having Mr. Lord Terry Babicz in studio for an interview tonight, and he's going to be hanging out and answering some questions. We're going to be playing some of his music, and we're going to find out more about the Lord himself tonight. But first off, we're going to start off with one of his songs with Test Human. Here it is, Rage, right here on the Yeti Radio.
Disease, rebuilding Christianity, present to please. Money hungry insanity, moral destruction, the price overdue. System corruption, they're down on you. We must unmask their own. Hypocrisy, grace the plum of grief with greed, monstrosity. Inner workings never to be seen. Faith crashes down, all expectations disappear. Thought riddle crumb reflected face of greed appears. We must conquer our fear. Money flowing endlessly, no kind of decency, sacrilegious casualties. No vengeance instantly, filling self-incarceration. Go to God in desperation, beware. Give to receive, for the best place in afterlife. Conscience burning, feel the judge, clean you dry. Hear the cries of innocence, torn from children. Backroom atrocities, left them broken. We must bring their end. Money flowing endlessly, no threat of decency, sacrilegious casualties. The place of history, feeling self-incarceration. Go to God in desperation. Beware, the devil.
back in studio live with Lord Terry Babicz. Welcome to the Yeti Radio Studio, sir. Yes.
All right. Hey, how's it going? It's great to be here.
Awesome. Thank you. And yes, very awesome to have you here.
Thanks so much.
It's sometimes for me doing the interviews, it gets a little difficult when you get the more experienced musicians in here, because it's like because I don't want to stumble and fall on my face.
Yeah, don't worry about that stuff. It's part of being, a professional. Is you're going to stumble. It's just how you recover.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
Right. It's like that Rocky Balboa quote. It's not how many times you get knocked down. It's how you get back up.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I'm getting lots of practice at that. So, how long have you been in music?
Oh, what is it now? I'm going to totally age myself.
It's okay. We're starting to get old, so it doesn't matter
right.
at that point.
Coming up on it's over 30 years. I know that.
Okay.
But yeah. So let's just say 30 plus years.
Okay.
Right.
We'll go with that. We don't need exact numbers.
Yeah.
Unlike Stryper last night, 40th anniversary tour. Yeah,
right.
Gee, thanks for making me feel old, guy.
Yeah.
Michael, I swear.
Yeah.
But so did you join Test Human, or are you part of the manufacture of the band?
No, I joined. I'm in the band, and I got it from an opportunity that started here when they toured here. When they toured here, they played at the 44, and that's when I got to meet everybody. And at that time, they had 2 guitar players, and then we played. If I remember this correctly, Brandon Gaddy, who's been my drummer for the last couple of years, he remembers this even more vividly than I do. To me, it's been like just such a whirlwind blur. But I believe they came out here at the 44, and then we opened up for them as a local band, like the local support, and then we just kind of hit it off. And the next show, I believe, was at the Whiskey A Go Go, where I played with Heather Badass. She's like hip hop, but she wanted to have like a live guitar with her too.
Okay.
And Brandon was doing live drums, and we were playing that to her tracks, but we were doing our parts live.
Right.
And I guess what I was doing really impressed Sean Scott Hicks, the founder of Test Human and the singer, and he offered me the job. Like, all right, you want to be the next guitar player? I'm like, sure. And for a while, it was still 2 guitar players, and then he whittled it down to just me. So, yeah, and then going on tour and recording up in Boston. It's been crazy. Yeah, crazy ride for me.
I can imagine. Boston, that's I've actually been there on vacation not too long ago.
Okay,
beautiful
cool
place, and so that's got to be fun hanging out up there.
Yeah, it was. I've never been to that side of the East Coast before, and just kind of seeing that rich history that's out there, and like that whole aesthetic, and then then just being in a recording studio with pro level musicians, and everybody's like top notch pro, as opposed to just kind of doing it like the smaller business end type.
Right.
Just the experience was everything that I had hoped it was going to be. Like as a musician, when you're coming up through the ranks, more or less, you play with people, and you kind of get to see, the feeling of how they are, who they are, and you get that feeling. I'm like, all right, this is kind of like a weekend warrior type of person, whereas like, okay, this other person I'm playing with this guy's gonna be a pro, like he's destined to be a pro. It's all in the attitude and how they approach things. And
right,
so
absolutely.
when I stepped into like the recording studio up there and playing with world class musicians, it's like, wow, this is it. It's
okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and get this next question out of the way,
Okay,
because this is the one that causes the most grief in an interview so far, for me anyway.
Okay.
When I saw it, I was like, it's not even one I wrote down. It's just one I saw in an interview and went, I like that.
Okay. All right.
So what would you prefer, being an A-level musician and a B-level band, or a B-level musician and an A-level band?
You know what? B-level musician, A-level band.
Okay.
Because there's always room for me to grow, as opposed to being the top dog in a band where everyone else needs to grow to like where I'm at. Because to be honest, I've done that a lot of my years playing. I'll play with people with any level whatsoever, but if I'm gonna kind of root down and say, all right, this is gonna be my band for the next however long, right, weeks, years, whatever it is, I'd rather be in the band where everybody's kind of like outplaying me, because then it challenges me. And it forces me to grow instead of being stagnant, where it's like, big fish, little pond, little fish, big pond type of thing, right? I would rather have room for me to grow and prove myself, than feel like, all right, I'm the best of this thing, and I don't need to, I don't need to really do anything, So yeah, for me, I want to constantly challenge myself.
Okay, awesome. Well, and I know from the couple of times that I've got to see you live, you definitely get up there and put it all out on stage. That's
thank
for sure. I always enjoy watching you play. It's just amazing.
Thank you. It means a lot.
So in writing songs, what is your philosophy?
Well, it's kind of, it's definitely changed throughout the years, but it's not like concrete. I'm much more fluid now with my approach to songwriting, and it really just depends on the mood. Sometimes, depending on the type of song I want to do, sometimes I will absolutely work on every riff and I'll get everything all worked out. Usually I'm the guy that if I write a song, I'll write all the parts, and then I'll present. And if I'm in a band, and I'll kind of present it to everybody, and they can have their interpretation of what I was doing on the other instruments. And then there's other times where if I'm with the right people, I won't write anything out. I might have like rough arrangement, like, okay guys, this is going to be like a 2-riff song and we're just going to jam. Follow me for like kind of like the Marty McFly Back to the Future. All right. This song's in the key of B, blues jam, and just follow me for the changes, and here we go. And I kind of like doing both. So that's and with the whole solo act of like the Lord Terry Babicz thing, that's what I use to basically challenge everybody, because that when you're up there improvising in front of everybody and you really don't know what riff or chord's going to come next, it puts everybody like that's playing, puts them on the spot, keeps them on edge. And it's when it hits, oh man, it's magic. It's right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I like to do a mix of both, and it's just a lot of fun that way. I've got a really, aside from like a heavy metal and rock type of influence, I also have a jazz influence.
Okay.
So like jazz and blues, there's a lot of improvisation in there. So I like to draw from that, as far as like, all right, let's make it dangerous. We're gonna do it in this key, and I'm gonna play like maybe 2 different modes in this song. So if you guys hear like you think you're playing a wrong note, switch your mode. And then you'll be right on, and let's just go for it. So it's, I don't know if that quite answered your question.
No,
but,
it
gives you some insight about what I do live, at least.
Yeah, definitely a lot of insight, and it's trying to track that as I'm like, okay, maybe I need to go take some music classes.
And an example tying back to Rage that you guys just heard. I had one riff for Rage, and it's the beginning riff. I had that, and our drummer Roland Banks, he just heard me playing the riff, but we just went in the studio and I just started playing and he started playing to me, and then we were just feeding off each other for the rest of that song.
And I have to stop you real quick because it wasn't Rage.
Oh, okay. All right.
I read the note that I have, and, and I didn't read the right order.
Okay.
It was the Temple.
It was the Temple. Okay.
With your first band.
Well, yes. So
sorry.
Okay. That song. All right. So when you guys do hear Rage, that was pretty much a one take Jake, and I just did a couple of overdubs just to clean up a couple of the parts because when I listened back to the original track, you can hear me kind of like stumble. I'm like, all right, I can clean up that riff, but that was really about it. I didn't really redo all of the guitars or anything like that. So Temple, I wrote that in 91.
Okay.
Recorded it in I think around 2003, and
that was with your first band, Adversary?
Yes, that was my first band, Adversary. That was one of those songs where I wrote out everything beforehand. That was not like an improvised song. That was definitely written out beforehand. And man, there's something about that song. Just had that classic thrash song, the sound to it, and it's really carried over the years, and especially since thrash kind of came back into the fold, because it was faux pas for years, and then it comes back and everybody loves the song again. So
definitely, it was the music that you gave me for the show was definitely fun.
Oh, thank you.
Getting it set and ready for the show.
Oh, excellent. Thank you.
Because I go through everything and
sure,
except
no problem.
The notes are messed up.
No problem.
But at least I didn't stop the song mid-stroke this time.
Yeah, no problem.
So who are some of your biggest influences?
Oh man. Oh wow, that's
because you talk jazz, you talk blues, you talk thrash, you talk metal, you talk rock. So
okay. So I'll give you, I'll kind of give you without naming 100 different things.
Let's do top 2 or 3.
Yeah, I would say as far as like rock goes, I still draw influence from the Who.
Okay.
I still draw influence from Black Sabbath. And then in my teen years, I got into Metallica and that whole thrash scene. And then I wanted to find out, all right, what were these guys? What were their influences? And then UFO comes up.
Right.
Joe Satriani, which I got to take some lessons from him. I did a few of his seminars, the week-long seminars, and I got to take some lessons from him, from Alex Skolnick from Testament, Eric Johnson, like a whole bunch of different guys, Paul Gilbert. So even those guys, those were heavy influences on me. But when we talk about, like, say, jazz, Miles Davis, right? John McLaughlin, his guitar player, definitely I draw from him without even knowing about it.
Right.
Wes Montgomery. Even I'll listen to, like, say, Duke Ellington, and what I hear in the horns, I'll draw from that. Blues, Buddy Guy. I would say Buddy Guy, Albert King, Stevie Ray Vaughan. To an extent, Jimi Hendrix. To me, he was more of a blues player than a rock player. So I try to draw from a lot of different genres to make what I feel is my sound.
So, is there anybody that you have collaborated with that would be like a milestone collaboration? And is there anybody else that would be that you would like to collaborate with? That's
Wow. Well, to be honest, I would say, as far as like whether you can call it collaborating or not, just me being in Test Human and being exposed to like this next level of musicians that I'm performing with. Last year, when we went on tour, I was in the band with Luigi Mayorga and RJ Herrera, OG bass and drums from Suicidal Tendencies back in the 80s. And these two guys, they're the ones that wrote Institutionalized and all the other classics.
Right.
So just to be in a band, like, even though I didn't write songs with them, just to like be in the band with them, and that was like, it's still surreal, you know. And like, these guys, like, I can contact them and say hi, and you know, they're like, oh, hey, well, you know, what's going on, and just talk to them like normal people. But collaborating with Roland Banks on drums in Test Human, he's been in so many bands, and he's been doing this since he was like 12, I think he said, you know, where he was actually like performing live and getting paid, you know, like this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And and he's just an amazing drummer, and being able to collaborate with him and write different types of songs, like with Test Human, this last round of songs that we wrote, they're going to be released soon, but like each song that we did is almost like a different genre song. Like, there's one song that you just say, it's like, okay, well, that's just heavy metal. There's another song that's like more hardcore. There's another one that's straight up thrash, even more so than Rage, which you guys are going to hear in a little bit. But we were both kind of pushing each other, you know, because I'm bringing the extra heavy on the guitars. It's pushing him to play something different from what he's used to, and then he's got like different ideas and different spins on the writing a song too, which kind of like forces me to think about things differently. So I think right now, like, those are the collaborations like that kind of like hit home for me and touch me, you know, the most.
Okay. So where's your favorite local venue to play at?
Oh man, I have two, and that would be the 44 and the Starlight.
Okay.
Just because I've played a lot of shows at each, and Nancy from the 44, she's always welcomed me with, you know, open arms and a big smile, you know, and always makes me feel at home. And same thing with Lakin at the Starlight. And the Starlight will always have a special place in my heart, because when I was going through my divorce a few years ago, I was at like the lowest point you can get at, like, you know, was like, just, I didn't know where to turn to. I felt like there was, you know, like I had nobody in my corner, and, you know, nothing like that. And the Starlight, they started an open mic, and a lot of it was just to give me the chance to have a forum, have an outlet to, you know, to play. And that's when Brandon Gaddy and I kind of started collaborating. We were just doing it to kind of have fun, just to stay busy as musicians. And man, we played there every week, like the whole time the open mic was open. Like, we pretty much had that stage for months. Wow. And yeah, and, awesome. and I told Lake, and I told her many times, I said, you giving me this opportunity, you know, helped like save my life.
Right,
you know?
Definitely.
Yeah. So those two venues, yeah, I mean, it's like really personal for me.
Okay.
There's others that I would love to play, but those two venues will always have a special place in my heart.
Okay. So if you could play any venue in the world, stages, where would it be?
World stages. Well, even though I'm originally from Chicago, the Chicago stadiums and, you know, out there aren't really my first pick. I would have to say, probably tied for number one, Madison Square Garden and the Hollywood Bowl.
Okay.
I've already played the Whiskey A Go-Go.
Right.
I've already played the Rainbow, which you can't book at the Rainbow. You have to be invited to play.
Ah.
So for me to play at the Rainbow, and if you guys didn't know, the Rainbow has a secret venue upstairs. It was basically, it was kind of like Lemmy's personal little stage when he wanted to do stuff.
Okay.
So to be able to play on that stage in this like hidden area almost. It was way surreal, way over the top, and I was like over the moon for it. Yeah.
I didn't know you had to be invited. There's no.
Yep. You can't just call them up and book. They'd be like, nope, because they don't have it open for shows often. You know what I mean? So they got to like really do the work to open it up and stock the bar up there and get the sound guy in and all that stuff.
Right. Not to mention the marketing.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Have you done the Troubadour?
No, but I do. I want to play there. I want to play the Viper. The Viper's another one you got to be invited to.
Okay.
And the Roxy.
Okay.
I definitely want to play those three. Those are like bucket lists as well. But like Super Dream, Madison Square Garden, Hollywood Bowl.
Okay. Very awesome.
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
So what's your favorite song to perform?
Oh man. Ooh, wow, that's a good one. That's a good one. As far as a cover, when everybody's hitting it right, Circles by Joe Satriani. Other than that, I would say Seek and Destroy by Metallica.
Okay.
Those are my two favorite.
And so what's your biggest highlight or best performance yet in 30 plus years?
Ooh, man. I've had some clunkers and I've had some good ones. Man, I would say, wow. I've played the Whiskey 3 times. It's a tie between when I played the Whiskey. You know what? I'm going to go with that. Because I was going to say between the Whiskey and the Rainbow, but I'm going to say the second time I played the Whiskey, where it was my name that was on the marquee, Lord Terry Babicz. Like that right there was like dream come true, right?
Okay.
And that just had me so geeked to play the show. Like we absolutely killed it. Did you
take a selfie with it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. And we were. It was right when I think it was my debut show with Test Human as the second guitar player.
Okay.
So as Lord Terry Babicz, we were the direct support for Test Human, which was the headliner. And I remember our set. We nailed everything. It was just awesome.
So you direct supported and then played with?
Yes, I did a double. Set.
Back-to-back sets.
It was. I didn't even leave the stage to like even go get a drink. I was just like, all right, let me, all right, we finished. Let me check all my tunings. Let me check my settings for Test Human stuff.
Somebody throw a shot.
Pretty much, yeah. I think I might have asked somebody like, hey, can you at least give me a water or something? And I just stayed up there, and within a few minutes, everybody else was starting to come up on stage. So I'm like, all right, here we go, And so it's like, how many people can say that not only they're, like as far as from, like local band levels, right? Because I still consider myself like a local guy too. So how many people can say that not only did they play at the Whiskey, but their personal freaking name was on the marquee. Right. And then not only that, they also headlined at the Whiskey, on the same show. Right. Yeah. The same show. Yeah. So just,
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. I think that one, the more I think about it, that one just, it's hard to top that. And at least to me personally, it's hard to top that one.
So do you have any oddball pre-show rituals?
I wouldn't say oddball. I just
anything out of the ordinary, because
what I won't do is I won't drink before a show. But yeah, I'll fire up a little, a little bit, just to kind of even me out, make sure, I'm not too nervous, calm my nerves type of thing. I won't play like totally ripped or anything, just because that's not serving anybody, any good.
Absolutely.
All that stuff's for after,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's a topic that's been brought up, and good advice for up and coming artists. Is,
absolutely, yeah.
Save all the partying for after the
exactly, exactly. Because no matter what, if you want to get to that level, I'll tell you this, guys, right now, if you want to get to that next level, that pro level, you have to have a pro mindset. So you can't do all the partying and stuff. You can't do that typical rock star crap. You gotta, if you're gonna do it, it's great, it's fun, but save it till after your set. No matter where you're at in the lineups, just save it till after your set.
Definitely. So what's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you on stage?
Oh man, it's probably more like bumbles, right? Like I'd go to step on my pedal on the pedal board and then knock the pedal off the pedal board, and now I've got no sound, and I've got to quickly I got to quickly troubleshoot it and hook everything back up together and get back into the spot where I need to be. Like, that's happened to me way more often than I ever wanted to or ever thought it would happen. There was times where I would move the wrong way, and all of a sudden the cable falls out of my guitar. And I've done this. I remember I did this once at Joe's Grotto, where I'm in the middle of playing. I think we're doing one of the Hanneman Fests, and I moved wrong. Cable falls out. I'm in just thrashing, right? I knocked my guitar cable out, and I quickly, without missing a beat, quickly grabbed it and just plugged it right back in. And I remember Rich Ornelas was standing right in front of me, right next to the stage, and he's watching me, because it was one of the first real shows when I was in Sick Black, where we kind of made a stamp of here we are, guys, here's our new guitar player, here we are, right? I remember Rich was staring at me, and after our set, he's paying me a lot of comments, man, you killed it up there. And I'm just, in my mind, I'm oh man, I embarrassed myself, and I told him, I'm man, I can't believe I knocked the guitar cable out. He's like, what? I'm yeah. He's like, dude, I was closely watching you. He's like, I didn't even see it. That's how quick you were then. I'm like, woo, I did my job then.
Right, absolutely. That's good, because, and again, in not just on stage, in other venues, in other jobs.
Yeah.
When you're up there performing, those people aren't going to know.
Yeah.
When you make a mistake, you're going to beat yourself up way more than anybody else.
Yeah,
is.
Absolutely.
But most of them aren't even, like you said, he was watching you and didn't catch it. And it's
right.
And you're over there beating yourself up. And he's like, dude, great show.
Yeah,
and
right.
You're like, oh, no, it wasn't. No, it was. Okay, I'll take your word for it then. So, going to Boston and recording.
Yeah.
With
Test Human.
Yeah. Sorry.
No problem.
And the changes in the industry over the last 30 plus years.
Yeah.
Have you done anything with technology in recording, like recording a riff or a section of a song and sending it to somebody, that having it put together that way, or
I with Test Human, when Sean first asked me about recording, I told him, hey, I got this stuff set up at home where I could do exactly what you're saying, where, hey, if you send me the tracks, I can record my parts and then send everything back to you. And he's like, well, I want to write and I want to do all this stuff. And the more we talked, we just thought it would be better where everybody was just together. So for the songs that we've been working on past 6+ months, it was just, we found it better that we were all together in a room, at the same time. But right now, Sean, he's having some health issues, so he's working on a song written by Bobby Reeves. He collaborated with like Crazy Town a lot, and he's got his own band. And what Sean wants to do is he's going to have the tracks. He's going to send them over to somebody in LA. They're going to put down all the rhythms, and he's like, "Could you like put a lead over that and send me that to the track?" So we're going to do exactly what you're talking about. Where I'm kind of do it by satellite, more or less. So
right.
That'll be coming up soon. But yeah, I've kind of done both, And
how do you feel about the differences? Because you were playing music back when it was all studio, and
all analog,
all grind.
Yep.
And,
I love the technology now, as opposed to like how manual everything was in like those analog days. I love how easy it is to edit everything, and you can get a great music product done very quickly if you're very skilled at editing and all that stuff.
Okay.
So I do love that, but if you're gonna create a song in the studio, to try to do all the parts separately and kind of send in the tracks, to me, it's you lose some of the magic, as opposed to being in the same room at the same time, feeding off that energy, things like that. Because sometimes all it takes is when you're in the studio and you're kind of like riffing off each other, and if you're watching each other, sometimes all it'll take in the middle of say like the drummer's going, right? All it takes is him just to glance at you, and you already know his vibe, and you already know like, all right, he's preparing to do something. He's kind of like giving me like, all right, you better hold on,
Here we go.
Yeah, and it's that kind of magic that really comes through in the song, and it's hard to replicate that when the other people are not there. You're listening, but you also don't get those visual cues. Not that you need them, but when you get them and you got that connection, oh man, it's like a second language.
Awesome. Well, we're gonna go ahead and do intermission, and we will play the song that I announced at the beginning of the show.
All right.
And in typical Yeti fashion, quick intermission, and we are going to run with Rage with Lord Terry Babicz with Test Human right here on the Yeti Radio.
Why can't you see? You mean nothing to me.
Lord Terry Babicz right here in the Yeti Radio studio. And we're back live on camera. And I lost my headphones. Oh, awesome.
Thank you very much.
And the Yeti has left the building.
we were cut mid-conversation while the song was playing, and it blew the cans right off his head.
Yeah, yes. I went to look up at the screen, and they went, "Oh, we're out of here." Oh, damn it. Let's just make it worse. When you get a creative block,
okay, yeah,
how do you handle that?
Abysmally. It's being an artist, no matter what the media or medium you choose, getting that writer's block, it's like a kick in the gut, because like, oh man, this is what I feel I am, and I can't even get my brain to do it. So if I find myself like say I go home tonight, like, man, being on the Yeti Radio just really pumped me up. I feel like I'm so inspired. If I go home with that feeling and I plug in the guitar and just there's nothing there, yeah, it feels like I'm letting myself down. So what I'll do is, maybe I'll listen to some music. If that's not doing anything, I'll just try to take my mind off of concentrating so hard on forcing something out. Because when you're an artist and you try to force out the art, even if you do squeak out something, it doesn't feel like natural, right? And usually if you go back to listen to it later, you're like, what was that garbage,
right? So
it's just a matter.
It sounds like it was forced.
Yeah, more or less. So you just got to kind of center yourself, get yourself into a happy place. I'm not necessarily condoning this to do this, but if you gotta smoke a J, maybe a shot of bourbon or something like that, just kind of like loosen you up a little bit.
It's legal now.
Well, it's legal now, but I'm just saying, I'm not condoning like abusing things like that.
Oh, no,
I'm just saying, if it's going to calm your brain a little bit, kind of like make you more receptive, it could be watching a movie, something completely different, to where you kind of get rid of that tension that you put on yourself. It could be going for a walk in the park, playing with your pet, maybe have some fun time with your partner.
Right.
It could be anything. Playing a video game or something. So trust me, I've tried all of that. Some of it works, some of it doesn't. But the important thing is, don't beat yourself up about it, because you're going to cause yourself anxiety, and depression will hinder any of that artistic, flow. Even though some of the best stuff can come out when people are going through some hard times, if you're focusing just on when those hard times will pass, you're not letting yourself pour out what you need to.
Okay.
So, it's different strokes for different folks, kind of thing. There's no right way or wrong way to get through writer's block, but it happens. It happens to everybody. So you just can't beat yourself up about it.
Absolutely. No, and it's just kind of to see what you as a writer, how how you do that, and it's good to listen and hear all the different possible techniques. Some it's just time.
Yeah, exactly.
Go back and forth to work for a couple of days, walk in the front door, 3 days later, and go, there it is.
Yeah, and then once those floodgates open, man, it just comes pouring on out, and you better start recording it, videotaping it, whatever you need to do, because who knows how long that flow is going to last, and so just
like
get everything down.
Rage,
Yeah.
You walked in and
yeah,
everybody jumped on board, and it just went. Whoop, there it goes.
Yep.
We're done.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing I had for Rage was just that beginning riff, and I had nothing else. And Sean was like, "We got to get a song down," and I'm just thinking in my head like, "I don't have a song," and well, you got to do something. All right, Roland, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to play this riff, and he's like, "Listen to it." He's like, "All right," and then we told our engineer Mike, "All right, just go ahead and hit record, and we'll figure it out." And boom, that song came out just one take, just like that. Went back, cleaned up guitars just on a couple spots, but that was it, man. And wow.
Right, definitely. So, do you have, or have you had the audience take over a song vocally for you while you're on stage?
I've had, at least for parts of the song, when I would play, wasn't necessarily while I was in Test Human, but like playing as Lord Terry Babicz. I've had that happen a couple times when we would do Seek and Destroy, and more so when we would cover Roadhouse Blues by the Doors. Like that one, depending on the venue, because I'll tailor our set list per venue. So when I put that on the set list, when I think it's going to go over well at a certain venue, yeah, it does. Yeah,
okay,
it's pretty cool. It is pretty cool.
Awesome. With a successful, what we know as a successful career. When we were growing up, the gold album,
right,
the platinum,
right,
the handful of diamonds that are out there,
right,
it's just amazing. But we grew up knowing what it was like, or what it took to have a successful music career then.
Yes.
What are the differences today? What do you think?
Oh man.
Because I know streaming is a big thing, and if they're paying the way they say they're supposed to be paying, then
and they're
okay.
not.
But if they're not,
they're not. It's I forgot what it breaks down to, but you need like tens of thousands of streams to earn a penny, or earn $1, right? So it's ridiculous.
The breakdown on one platform was 166 or 168, I believe, and the other one was half that, 84. I think it was 84.
Yeah,
because it paid double.
Yeah,
I was like, I understand it. And again, if my thing is, if I buy your song, say if I buy the MP3 and it's $1, or whatever. I have infinite play, and you're not going to make any more off of it.
Exactly. Right.
So whichever of the two platforms, once you hit each milestone, and hopefully you're good enough that it's not just me.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It is much harder to make money selling your music in today's world, where most bands, and I'm not talking like the super A-listers, like the absolute superstars. I'm talking more like the mid-level and kind of the local scene level. All the money, it's going to come from your merch, or
the business end,
it'll come more from merch. The money you're making will it'll be from the door in the merch, So I would say all artists out there, if you're still at like that local level, or just above it, get yourself some good merch and really push that, and appeal to the fans. Try to think, and when it comes to your merch, think outside the box too. Everybody's got shirts and hats and stickers, but like for me, I got grinders.
Right.
I got credit card.
Bottle openers,
right? Things like that. get it printed. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Right. Yeah. So get it printed, get it looking legit, and I go to Alibaba for my merch, for stuff like that.
Okay.
So just if you have a little bit of try to think outside, a little creative approach to your merch, you can offer something that other people really don't have, and then you have a better chance of selling your merch that way as well.
Okay.
So just kind of think outside the box.
Okay. So essentially today, just doing what you love to do makes you successful, as long as
more or less. Yeah. You got to have a passion for what you're doing, and it's you got to be doing it because you love doing it, and don't be lulled by by that dream of I'm doing this so I can make all this fat cash and stuff like that, because a lot of that it'll take a lot of work, but there's also a lot of luck in that as well, as far as who gets tapped on the shoulder of like, all right, we want to sign you and stuff, so
it's always been there. But,
yeah.
I've also noticed how much sometimes who
exactly. Yes.
There's a couple of incidents that I've seen here recently, and I'm like, alrighty then. I know why that's happening.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. There is a lot of who So that's that'd be another piece of advice I'm gonna offer out to people that are trying to level up is network. Networking is just as important as your self-promotion. So who you meet today, you might think in your head like, this guy's a nobody, or, who does this guy think he is? But if that person, showing an interest in you, and they are in a good position to get you exposure to different people, regardless of where those other people are, make that good connection, keep that connection, because you just never know how it's going to pan out,
right?
And again, I'm going to throw it on my buddy Brandon. When we first got together a couple years ago, we were just kind of, hey, you just want to jam and have fun at the Starlight? And okay, yeah, it's no big deal. And, we were friends before then, but we never really played together, and we never really kind of like had any type of like bond at that level. And he's the one that introduced me to the guys in Test Human. He's the one that booked us to play at the 44, where I got to meet them.
Okay.
So if I didn't keep up that, not just the friendship, but if I didn't keep up that musician, level with him, I probably never would have gotten that opportunity to be in Test Human,
Right.
So it's just, again, it a lot of you creating the opportunities for you to have. It's going to come with networking as well. So it's very important that you make the connections, you keep the connections strong. Don't try to cause bad blood between anybody.
Right. Well, I've seen him play with you, and then I think I also saw him at the Starlight once. He was filling in for somebody.
Oh yeah. He does. He
does an outstanding job. So
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And another band that I know has I think probably one of the best philosophies when you're, trying to be up and coming, or you're up and coming, or you're about to. Yeah. Never say no. Unless you're already booked.
Yeah.
Don't say no.
Yeah.
Go play.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I think because then they're going to remember that. If you're already booked, say, look, I'm sorry, but I'm already booked that night.
Right.
Okay. They'll know that they can come back to you another time if they need you.
Yeah.
And, or if they'd like to have you playing with them. And I know personally, there's a lady that comes in from out of town and plays. And when she comes back next year, she's wanting to do something special, and she's asking me for advice. And I'm like, I'm not that guy, but I'll point a couple people in your direction.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be involved on the booking end because I don't. I don't take rejection very well.
Yeah. Never say no is definitely some good advice. And I'll also tack on to that if you get a gig, don't cancel it. Don't ever cancel on a gig. I mean, of course, if some type of emergency comes up, right? There's no way out of it. Usually there's an understanding, but if you're just canceling because of something that you easily didn't need to cancel for, the more you cancel on venues or promoters, they're going to remember that. Like, well, I don't want to ask this guy because I booked him for 2 shows already and he canceled both times,
Right.
So it's just, I haven't missed a show that I was booked for. Let's put it that way. I've never missed it. The last show we played, one member for whatever reason, didn't show up, and we're like, okay, well, he's not here. We're not canceling. We got to still play. So we went up on stage like, sorry this guy's not here, but we're still gonna rock your ass off anyways.
Right, definitely. In all honesty, because it's live, and you can play in a manner where you can almost mask.
Sure.
You can't mask the drummer.
Yeah.
But you might be able to get away with masking a bass, or if you have a second guitar,
right? Yeah.
But and obviously not the vocalist, but
yeah.
and I've noticed in our scene, there's a lot of people that when they get the call, hey, we need some help.
Yeah.
And people are always all over it, and it's really super awesome to see that here.
Yeah.
And it's what keeps me going as well.
Yeah.
It's one of the factors that keeps me going around, because everybody's so in tune with each other. And it's just amazing. But just having fun, you guys get up there and tear it up, and
you got to. Yeah. If you're up there having fun, it translates to the audience, and they want to have fun with you. If you go up there and you're kind of full of yourself, it's like you better be like absolutely stellar, because if you're full of yourself and you're just putting on like a mid-level performance, nobody's going to pay attention.
Yeah, they're going to know.
Yeah. Yep.
That sounds like a CD.
Yeah, more or less. Right.
So what's coming up in the future now? What do you got? You got anything planned coming up, or?
Well, right now, we've got 3 tracks with Test Human that are recorded. They're done. We're just waiting to release them, kind of like part of a strategy.
Okay.
Space them out a little bit.
Right. Is it going to be an EP in the end, or is it going to be a full LP?
That, I'm not sure how we're going to do that. Sean's strategy is right now we're going to release singles. I said, all right, after we get, say, 5 or 6, we should at least put it on an EP, if not anything else.
Right.
Hey, wait a minute. Just real quick, I just noticed George Harlan's...
hey, George.
Hey.
Sorry.
George, yeah. Awesome. Let's see. What's that? Libertarian House? Oh, great. Oh, thanks, George. I appreciate that. Oh, wait. Here's a question here. Oh, man, my old eyes. I can't read that from here. Question for Lord. What artists or songs do you currently have in your personal playlist? All right. We'll get back to the music strategy. I want to answer this for Leanne. What's in my current playlist? Well, let's put it this way. On my way here, I was listening to a jazz mix on Spotify, and a lot of it was swing. Some Buddy Rich, Duke, a lot of that kind of era. Other than that, when I'm more in my metal, I've been listening to a lot of Testament, a lot of the newer Testament stuff. I'm still jamming on Brotherhood of the Snake that came out a couple years ago. Yeah, so it's a mix between thrash and jazz. so I hope that answers your question, Leanne. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Leanne, for popping in with that question.
Yeah, sorry for missing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're just kind of
focused on this.
Yeah, we're getting caught up in conversation.
I keep forgetting to look.
Yeah. Okay. Back to music and our plan. So we're gonna release a couple songs with Test Human. We're kind of taking a little bit of a break, and we're gonna continue to write. But right now, Roland, I think he's about to go on tour. Roland, sorry if you're tuning in on this. I forgot who you're going with, but I think he's going to be in Europe for a little bit. Sean's having a couple of health issues, so he's been in and out of the hospital last couple of weeks. So he's got to take care of that for now.
Yeah, take care of number one.
Yeah. So we don't have any like tour plans right now. Outside of Test Human, early in July, Brandon and I are going to start recording some of the songs we've been working on the last year and a half or so.
Okay.
We'll be releasing that. If everything goes well, we should be able to release something by September. And then, I should have had the dates in my head. But as far as the next show that we have booked, it's going to be at the Whiskey in beginning of September. I think September first week or so. Can't remember if it was like the 8th or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of what's going on right now. Is we're just kind of taking it easy, while everybody else kind of takes care of their stuff. All right, Leanne, very cool. Love that stuff. Testament's great. Yeah, Testament's, man, it's one of my metal heroes. And Alex Skolnick, lead guitar, he's definitely one of my top guitar heroes. Alex Skolnick, when I found out back in the 80s, as a teen, when I found out that he was one of Joe Satriani's students, I started paying attention to Skolnick a little bit more, and I read an interview he did with I think it was Guitar World, and he was talking about how he grew up with a real heavy jazz influence in his house because he grew up in the Bay Area, San Francisco, and his parents were really into jazz. So he was talking about how he incorporated that into his playing, and I'm like, whoa, really? I gotta check out jazz more, So me as a teenager in the late 80s, while everything was all about heavy, I'm the kid who's like, heavy, yes, but wait a minute, there's some really great stuff going on, in 30s through 60s jazz. There's some really cool stuff. So yeah, I'll absolutely put Skolnick as the reason why I got so heavy into jazz.
Okay.
Yeah. So
very nice.
Oh, Leanne, jumping back in. Yes, he does. Skolnick does do a jazz project, and it's great. Yeah, Jazz Rush tribute. Skolnick, what he did was he got a degree in jazz when he left Testament for a little while. I think he got a degree in jazz. I know he studied. Was it maybe Berkeley? Can't remember offhand, but once he was done getting his degree in jazz, he went back and took some metal songs and turned them into jazz standards.
Oh,
so
wow.
He'll play like Dream On and Highway Star, things like that, but as jazz with a stand-up bass, and
very cool.
Drums are on a little trap kit and stuff like that. It just sounds amazing. Yeah. Yeah. So Yeah, it's very cool. So, yeah, circling back around, while Test Human's kind of like on a little bit of a lull, I'm gonna start ramping back up on the Lord Terry Babicz as far as like getting some more music out there, and we've got the one show at the Whiskey coming up, but right now I'm not actively booking, but if any promoters are gonna be like, hey, you know, you want to play a show coming up whenever, you know, I'd be like, all right, as long as it doesn't conflict with anything else.
Right, no, absolutely.
You know, sure, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, if you're booked and you say no because you're booked, or there's some time constraints that just aren't going to let you do it, then, you know, I would never have. I'd be like, okay, well, at least I know I can come back to you sometime later.
Right, exactly.
If I need somebody again, so that, you know, that's always that's burnt bridges. That's that way. They don't, they don't say no.
Yeah.
And they don't care if it's a full metal band, a full metal show, and they're like, hey, you want to play with us? They're like, heck
right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If somebody asked me, and if I thought I didn't particularly fit, I was like, well, they must think I fit somehow because they asked me, so why not?
Well, it's I've seen a lot where shows are similar genres or close to, but I've also seen some where it's just all over the place and everybody's just having a really good time. The audience, you know, because you've got this group of genre over here and this group over here and this group over there, and they're all listening to all the same music because they're there.
Yeah,
almost like a captive audience, because, you know, if you pay for a show, you might as well stay for the whole thing.
Right. Yeah.
And you know, unless it's something you just really don't care for.
Right.
What's, you know, that's why I play so many different genres and do all the stuff that I do, because I look at the genres individually. I don't want to. I have my favorites.
Sure.
But when you do a show, it can be whatever. You know, New Music Monday, it's new music from Arizona.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
And Leanne, her band's going to be featured this Monday.
Oh, nice.
I think I've got 3 songs so far for the next show coming up. So she's with Hooker Hill.
Oh, all right.
And they've got a new song that came out last month. I didn't find out about it till a couple days ago, and so I'm like, well, get added to the list and get played this week.
Right? Yeah.
Because sometimes that happens. But looking forward to this week's show. We got some really good music coming out. Well, it's always got some really good music coming out. It's just we got more.
Right.
And then I'm also saving the list for the whole year.
Oh,
and
okay.
And then hopefully in December. We're over 140 songs so far for the year.
Wow.
So in December sometime I'll have one really long show and just play everything from 2023.
Nice.
As opposed to, you know, just Mondays. So we'll see how that goes. It might be a one and done. It might be an annual thing. I don't know yet. We'll see what happens.
All right.
But and it's been an honor and a pleasure having you.
Oh, thank you. I absolutely enjoy this. This is amazing. Thanks a lot.
No, like you said, everybody always thanks me for my support, but without the bands doing what they do, I don't get to do this.
Right.
2A Street here.
Yeah,
and, So thanks to them and thanks to you, and it's a whole lot of fun. And
it is.
And I've met so many people. And it's been a blast. So I look forward to way more in the future, and especially once I retire and I can be a little more
have more time to
a little more time
to dedicate to it. Yeah,
to dedicate to it. And I know I was talking to you before we started, sitting down with the financial manager and seeing about actually getting the internet station up and running.
Yeah,
and it's probably for the rest of the year, if it goes, for the rest of the year, it's going to be a nightmare trying to put all the music together. And I've got enough to get it uploaded and get a good bunch started.
Yeah,
and then just continue to add from there. But it ought to be interesting.
Yeah.
So we're going to close, and
okay.
I'll let you talk up
the next song. All right.
Insanity.
Yeah. Okay. So first I want to say to Leanne, she commented, "Thanks for answering her questions." So thank you for participating, Leanne. I really appreciate it. Great questions. And
absolutely.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay. So this last song of the show, this has not been released yet. So everybody listening in, you're getting first taste of this. This is a song that we wrote in Test Human. It's called Insanity, and this will be released soon, but you guys are going to hear it right now.
Leave the world behind. There's no place to hide. Leave the world behind. There's no place to hide. Told to lose, but you're born to win. By all means, even sin. There is no hope, there is no thanks. In a world of guns and tanks, bullets fly, mothers cry, blind eyes to genocide. Warlords in business suits, pointing fingers, now you shoot. Leave the world behind. There's no place to hide. Leave the world behind. There's no place to hide. Nothing here for me to see, nothing left for me to be. Insanity and agony, mental cancer devours me. Angels laugh and demons scream. Pray to God for peaceful dreams, and only nightmares live in me. Burn me alive now, damn you me. Leave the world behind. There's no place to hide. Leave the world behind. There's no place to hide. Now all the seams and all the dreams, everything has come undone. Humankind has lost its way, leaving our children forced to pay. Current state of the human race, never to see heaven's gate. On my knees to kiss a gun, never again to see the sun. Everything has come undone, never again to see the sun. Everything has come undone, never again to see the sun.
Lord Terry, right here in the Yeti Radio Studio. Thank you again, sir, for joining us. And
Again, thank you for having me.
absolutely,
It's been a blast.
Look forward to seeing you again live on stage, and we'll have all sorts of fun.
All right. Thanks.
Doing a quick shout out for Mr. George Harlan over at Phoenix Metal Scene,
Yeah.
who spreads all the Yeti love as much as possible. Penny Travis and Trevor over at Rockin' Free Live.
Rockin' Free.
And a big shout out to Test Human, Lord Terry, and
Thank you.
and
Thank
Brandon for making some great music. And thanks to Miss Leanne for being in the chat over on YouTube.
you. Yeah, she's been great.
We were also back on Twitch tonight, but I guess for some reason it didn't, or maybe it did. There it goes. And because there were some issues, so I had to turn the record and save the video off.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'll just, because some people can't find YouTube, so can't find my channel on YouTube.
Oh,
so,
wow.
and they were
Weird.
in Twitch, so I'll just put it back up and take away the record part. But I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight and hanging out with me and the Lord himself. Real
Thank
quick,
you. Yes.
one more last question.
Yeah.
How did you get Lord?
How to get Lord? Well, I I bought a square foot in Scotland, square foot of land, and that's all you need for a title of Lord.
Oh,
and
awesome.
I did it kind of as a, like, do it for kicks. And then, I don't know, it just clicked. I'm like, well, I have this official title. I've got the paperwork. I'm truly, I'm truly have a Lord title, so why not use it as a stage name?
Okay.
And there it is.
No, absolutely.
It's not like I'm just like, I'm just going to call myself Lord. Nope. I got the paperwork to back it up.
That's why I asked.
Yeah.
It's people ask how I got the Yeti. So
right. Yeah.
So what is your heritage?
Oh man, I seriously am a little bit of everything. But I guess the culture I grew up like with my family, mostly that I was exposed to is I'm Croatian.
Okay.
So I just consider myself, I'm mostly Eastern European, where the next, that being like Croatia and some other like Bohemian type of cultures, but so a little bit Croatian or mostly Croatian, Eastern European, and then the next biggest slice in my gene pool would be Mexican.
Okay.
So
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I forgot to ask those earlier. I want to get to
no problem. No problem.
But thank you very much, and again, thanks for being here, and thanks everybody for watching.
Thank you very much.
And
rock on.
We'll catch you Monday night at 8:30, right here back on YouTube at the Yeti Radio for New Music Monday, where so far we have new music from Hooker Hill, Avarist, and Cranberry Suit. So tune in.
Sounds awesome.
And hopefully we get some more. But it's going to be a great Monday, as they always are. So come hang out with the Yeti and listen to some great music. Mondays at 8:30. Arizona time, that is.
Can you dig it?
The Yeti.
Can you dig it?
The Yeti.
Can you dig it?
The Yeti.
This is beautiful. What is that, velvet?
The Phoenix music scene. The only thing hotter is the music that comes out of it on the YetiRadio.com. Oh, yeah.